It was a calm night for one Izuku Midoriya as he was walking to the local store over his 3 years in UA. He noticed the curricular followed a routine if you will. When he was in his first year, the classes were about training to be a good combat hero, training to be a good rescue hero, and even training to help solve a crime. When he was in his second year, the classes were mostly about using the training on large scale, like if entire cities were being invaded or a large disaster. Now towards the end of his third year of school, he could confidently say this year was mostly about gaining experience. Izuku's phone began to ring. Looking at the screen, he saw it was Mei Hatsune, the inventor, who for some apparent reason took an interest in the green-haired boy since his second year. After checking who it was, he answered it. "Hey Mei, what's up?" "Oh, nothing much, just finishing some of my orders. So how did your talk with All Might go?" "Well, he said my 50% limited could just be how my training is no longer challenging, and said that I should work on my stamina training so I could use full cowling more." "Oh, don't worry, with the baby we've been working on you'll be able to use 100 without any repercussions." Smiling slightly, he spoke. "Thanks Mei, I'll come by after my trip from the store. Want anything?" Putting away his phone, Izuku looked up at the store sign as Izuku walked through the doors and began to grab the snacks he would need for the rest of the week, as he had run out the day before. He quietly paid the man behind the counter and walked out of the store. While walking out, his vision was getting blurry, so he wiped his eyes, and when he opened them he was met with an open market. Not unlike the ones depicted in ancient times, only this time it seemed like there were more people with animal quirks looking around. He was confused. This wasn't the front of the store. "Haha, okay Kaken, that's enough. You and Kami can stop with the illusion now. You honestly can't still be mad for the sleepover incident. Really, I thought you were more mature than this." "Look mommy, that weird guy is talking to himself." "Don't point, it's rude," the mother scolded her daughter. Ignoring the words of a small child, he asked the man with green hair where he was. What country is this?" "What, you're in the kingdom of Lugnica? Want an appa?" Izuku pulled out the remaining yen he had left, only to be rejected with nothing left. He began to explore. He quickly realized he couldn't read or write the language, so he just wondered, hoping Kami and Kaken could get bored with this prank. He came across a small building, and walking to what he thought was the men's side, he was thoroughly mistaken. As it revealed, he went to the female side quickly, using one for all to quickly escape. He came across a building that reminded him of an Wild West themed bar, as the doors were the swinging one would find in a Wild West movie. Walking in, he was instantly met with harsh words, as apparently this bar was a demi-human only bar, which meant that their quirk discrimination was against animal-style quirks and vice versa. That was interesting. He wondered how they treated people with villainous quirks. Unable to notice one of the demi-humans, as they were called, picking him up and throwing him into the river, he had to stop at an alleyway because his clothing needed to dry and he wanted to take a quick inventory of his stuff. He only had his cargo shorts and his shirt that said T-shirt, along with the snacks he brought with him, also his phone. He realized that his supplies would only last him one day before he ran out of food. Well, look here, boys." Izuku stood up and faced the new voices, only to see 3 people slowly walking towards him. One was tall and skinny, another was fat, and the third reminded him of Mineta. He noticed his danger sense was warning him about the tall skinny one, so using basic logic, he was the one with the weapon. "Give us everything you got and no one gets hurt." Izuku narrowed his eyes, and as he got ready to flick these clowns away, he was interrupted by a small girl with orange hair walking toward him before using him as leverage to jump onto the roof of the building next to him. Not really pay her much mind, the 3 boys began to get even closer. "Just walk away and I won't have to use force." "Oh, and what is a little green bean like you gonna do?" "Wow. This was just insulting since he stayed the same 5 feet 5 inches. Not that many people thought he was dangerous outside of his hero costume. Rolling his eyes, he finger flicked the tall skinny guy away with a 25% finger flick. He was about to offer the other two a way out before he was interrupted again. This time it was a silver-haired girl running into the alley. "Halt, thief, please return what you have stolen from me." Oh, so Izuku wasn't the only victim of the guys. He grabbed the tall skinny guy. "Oh, so I'm not the only victim you've claimed." Izuku lifted the poor guy higher. "Return what you have stolen, now." "We didn't take anything from her. It was probably that girl from before." Letting them go, he motioned them to leave quickly. Getting the message, they ran off. He turned to the girl and apologized for not being able to do much to help her out. Then he quickly got an idea. "Hey, how about I help you out?" "Oh, you don't need to, it's fine really." "No, please let me, I have nothing to do anyway, so this would be a nice distraction." "Hey, what were you looking for anyways?" "Oh, it's my insignia, it has a red gem in the middle of it." Nodding, he began to with her to the place where she first lost her insignia. Izuku tapped her on the shoulder and introduced himself. "I'm Izuku Midoriya, by the way." "Oh, I'm Satella. And I'm Puck." Suddenly a small cat-like animal floated out from behind Satella. "Cool, what are you?" Izuku began to lightly pet the creature. "Puck here is the spirit I'm contracted to." "What does that mean?" "Well, since I'm a spirit user, I make contracts with spirits and I use their magic." Izuku nodded at the explanation. They saw a little girl crying over to the side, and before Satella could even consider helping her, Izuku Reddy walked up to the girl and began trying to cheer her up. "Hey, little girl, wanna see something cool?" That got the girl to stop crying as she looked up at Izuku, who in response began to create a small smoke screen and then using black wit made it seem like black snakes were rising up from the fog in a dancing notion. They swayed and bobbed around. And when the little girl, who was amazed by this, tried to touch it, he made them shy away from her. When the smoke finally dissipated, there weren't any remains of the snakes. "How did you do that, mister?" Moving his hands in a dazzling gesture, he spoke. "Magic." "Wow, so cool. So how's about you tell me your parents' names and I can help you find them?" The little girl told them her parents' names and he and Satella helped her look for them. "Hey Izuku, why did you help that girl? You would have gained nothing from it." "Well, meddling even when you don't have to is the essence of being a hero." Satella brightens up at this. "So I don't really need any reward because the knowledge of helping someone is all that will be enough." Izuku was so honest, Satella had a hard time not believing him. As they continued walking around, they spotted a woman frantically searching for something, so he pointed it out to the little girl. She ran to her and as Izuku waved goodbye, they continued to search for the girl who stole Satella's insignia. When they spotted the app guy from earlier, they walked up to him in order to ask questions. "Hey, have you seen a little girl about yay high with blonde hair?" "Oh, you mean Felt? Yeah, she lives over by the slums." "Thanks, I will try and buy some next time." Running off, they noticed the slums was a really bad place, so with the sun still burning, they asked some guy who was sitting on a hay bale for directions. "Hey, do you know where a young girl named Felt is?" "Oh yeah, she's at Old Man Rom's place, it's over there, live good." He and Satella looked at each other before shrugging and walking off to the place they were told. Knocking on the door, they heard a gruff voice and a young voice telling Satella to wait off to the side. He just felt like they would be less open if the person they stole from was here. When the door opened, a man the size of very few pro heroes could accomplish. What do you want?" So I'm here because I was informed by my boss that a valuable insignia was here." "Oh, so you have business with Felt?" He let them in, and when Felt's gaze landed on him, she seemed to not recognize him. That was good, for Izuku didn't know how to explain that one. Okay, so I'm here to exchange something for that insignia. Oh, and what do you have that is just if not more valuable than 10 holy coins? One thing Izuku noticed was that this was medieval times with real magic, so he pulled out the only thing that could be explained with magic was his phone. This device can do so much from catering time to being a compass. It can even tell you how hot it is outside. Izuku showed them the function of his modern-day phone, and thanks to Mei adding what she called a kinetic battery, as long as it was in motion it could absorb the energy and charge, giving it unlimited battery life. The old man seemed to study it intensely before giving it his price. I would say this is worth 40 holy coins and no less, so I could go up higher if you found the right person. Really well if you wait for my client, because if this is as valuable as it seems I might be able to get even more money. Great, she was just like a Chaco when it came to money. Izuku noted as his classmate would often bargain for a lower price or would try and get the most out of what she was selling. He once paid her 4,000 yen, about $40, for the last cell phone charger since she had extra and mystery all of the chargers stopped working. So for as much as Izuku loved Achako, she had a greedy side when it came to money, but that was just one side of her the whole class understands. So they waited, and then a tall woman came in. He had a purple robe and walked with superiority, kinda like a lion walking onto an injured gazelle. She looked at all of us, and when her eyes reached him he felt his danger sense go off, taking a more guarded posture but still carefree. He saw the way her eyes gleamed once she noticed his tense stance. Izuku felt dread as he saw that gaze from Katsuki every time a villain didn't move from his explosion. As the negotiations went on, she revealed she could only pay up to 20 holy coins so he would get it. Yay, that was a massive weight of his shoulder. Thwomp. Acting faster than everybody in the room, he grabbed both Felt and Rum and jumped back with them in tow. He saw the look of shock as most who didn't know him had ahead of time believing a 5 feet 5 inches kid could possess that much power. Oh my, you are strong and fast too, this will be fun. Great, another Toga son of a bitch. Izuku thought the woman was fast, and while he could keep up it took him a 25% just to do it, so she was strong. Both were thrown to the side as the old man had used a club to beat both of them into a wall, and as he and Rum swapped out he went to Felt. You need to run and go get help, I can hold her off until then. But just go, we don't have time. Not giving her a chance to argue anymore, he punched a hole in the wall and shoved her out. Go, hurry. As she ran off, the woman tried to throw a blade, so he just kicked it out of the way. Turning back, he saw Satella coming in the door, and before anyone could notice, Izuku had smacked the woman out of the way. Oh wow, you're quite fast. I wonder if you're going all out. And while she was right, his true strength would probably destroy this entire building and whatever body part he decided to use it on, so for now he just kept up with her as he wasn't in any form of law enforcement and he really didn't want to be labeled a vigilante just yet. Then she jumped on top of Rum's club and slashed his neck. Then her having grace came. He was a tall man with red hair and a sword that looked dope. He served the sense and noticed me dragging Rum to the side. Ah, the sword, Saint Reinhard. Elsa the Bowel Hunter. Oh, I'm honored you know me, can you give me a good fight? And the fight continued as Els began to bounce off the walls much like Gran Torino. Reinhardt was looking rather bored while Satella was using some sort of healing quirk to heal his neck. Why isn't he on the offensive? It's because all the mana would rush towards him, cutting me off from healing him. Once I give you the okay, tell Reinhardt so he can hurry up and beat her. Okay. Izuku watched the battle and noticed how much Elsa was pushing herself. She seemed to struggle when landing blows on him. Now Izuku. Reinhardt, go. Reinhardt seemed confused before he got the message, and then Izuku saw how all the white particles seemed to gather in the random sword he picked off the ground, eventually glowing so bright one couldn't even see the sword he swung, destroying the whole shack along with Elsa. Is that it? Satella said as she stared intently at the ruble where Elsa would have been. I guess I asked too much from you, rest. Reinhardt told the sword that was beginning to turn to dust in a similar manner as Izuku's bones every time he used 100% more than once on a single limb. Then, as if Satella had jinxed it, Elsa burst forth from the rubble and tried to attack Satella. Izuku, quite tired of this woman and her durability, punched her with 40% since she was in the air and didn't have the footing to stand her ground, so she was sent flying. He knew from personal experience just how far he could send someone with one for all. Seeing that she was truly gone, ran up to him and presented the insignia. Here's the insignia you wanted. Izuku was about to give her his phone, but she denied it. Oh no, I couldn't take payment after what you've done for me, so it's on the house. Taking back his phone, he turned to Satella. Here's your insignia, Satella. Reinhardt, who was studying Fell, turned over to them when he heard Satella's name. Satella, noticing this, blushed furiously. That's not my name, sorry. Oh, it's not? Yet it's actually Emilia. The now named Emilia looked abashed. Hey, where are you taking me? Let go. They both turned to the ruckus only to see Reinhardt dragging Feld away. I'm so sorry, I have urgent business with Miss Feld here, so I trust you guys can handle yourselves. He waved them off as he continued to drag Feld away. Well, I can't thank you enough for getting me my insignia back. Oh, it was nothing really. But I'm in debt to you, so how can I repay you? Well, I think I might be asking too much, but if you can lend me a place to sleep for the night, as I don't really have a place to go. Oh, I can help you with that. Once I explain to my benefactor, he'll be happy to let you stay in the mansion. When she went to grab his arm, she noticed the scars that littered his arm. She also saw how it was misshapen, not too noticeable at first, but when she held his hand, she had one thought running through his head. Who are you really, Izuku?